the long layoff. I've been under the weather lately, and it's been hard to record. But as of right now, I'm feeling much better. So a couple days ago, Kid Blue came out with his rebut to Stephen A. Smith, essentially, and I'm going to rebut the same clip. So I want to give credit for Kid Blue bringing that to my attention. I had no idea that Stephen A. had said that. And a couple other people in the comment section also suggested that I rebut Stephen A. Smith. So, with no further ado, welcome to the courtroom, and let's get into it. But before I do, just want to make a quick disclaimer. If you don't like political views mixed with your sports, don't listen to what I have to say after this. But either way, let's get into it.
In 2017, when Bob McAdoo and Jerry Reese, an African-American GM, elected to bench Eli Manning for a game and start Geno Smith, the New York Giants became the last NFL team in history to start an African-American quarterback. And they only did that one time. You got people out there talking and chirping about, I'm calling the Giants a racist organization. I'm doing no such thing. I'm not calling them anything. I'm stating fact. They haven't started up until 2017. They were the only NFL team to have never started an African-American quarterback. You do so by benching Eli Manning to insert Geno Smith for one game. Now you end up having the number two overall pick last year. You draft Saquon Barkley instead of Sam Darnold, fine. But this year you've got the number 6th overall pick, and universally, the quarterback situation was labeled Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, and Drew Lock and Daniel Jones were competing with one another, depending on which aficionado you were willing to listen to. Todd McShay had Daniel Jones ranked 59th amongst the players coming into the NFL draft. So Dwayne Haskins is right there, and the New York Giants pass on him. And does it beg the question that if Dwayne Haskins looked a little bit differently, perhaps the New York Giants would have selected differently? We don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know their history doesn't help in that equation. And with Gettleman chirping the way that he doesn't sound like he's making much sense either.
Before I get into the main part of my rebuttal, I'll play you guys another clip. It's a clip about 2 years ago. Something that Stephen A. Smith said. He was caught in an interview. It looks like in a hotel lobby, if I had to take any guess. In his views and what he said then.
Propelled ourselves to the heights that we propelled ourselves with if it were not for the assistance of white folks, some conscientious white folks along the way. But in order to provoke and spark them to do that, we have to be careful about crying about racism every chance we get. Because when we mention the word racism and we're looking at white people, they're thinking we're talking about all of them, not that we're talking about some of them. So we got to make sure that we highlight intelligently, look, we're talking about some and the way you act, not all.
I'm going to keep this short, sweet, and to the point, without getting too carried away. To me, I didn't like this segment at all, and I don't even like commenting on it, to be totally honest with you, but I was asked to, and so I'm going to do a quick rebut. Now, it's fair Stephen A. Smith wants to think that Dwayne Haskins is a better prospect than Daniel Jones. I'm not going to argue the fact or anything like that. That's fair. And he brought some points up to support that. But then he goes on to the justification for what he's saying. He's like, I'm not calling the Giants racist, but they were the last organization to start an African-American quarterback. Is it possible that Dwayne Haskins had a different complexion? Maybe he'd be the Giants quarterback? And that right there is ridiculous. You're pulling the race card when you have no justification for it. It just happens to be that the Giants were the last organization. You don't point out the fact that the Patriots are the second to last, and the fact if Tom Brady was never suspended and Jimmy Garoppolo never gotten injured, Jacoby Brissett never would have seen the field. And the Patriots would have been last. Or would have been the last. Not the Giants. It just happened to be a set of circumstances to lead us to this. And to suggest anything other than the fact is ridiculous. You want to hear a fact, Stephen A. Smith? Your show, First Take, has been hemorrhaging users. And your ratings have been going down and down and down and down. Ever since Skip Bayless has left the show. That's a fact. And maybe it's for blanket statements like this is why your show continues to hemorrhage viewers. I'm really hoping the second clip I played is your true belief and not the one you suggested here. Either way, guys, this has been One Giant Rebuttal. Please like and subscribe, and go Big Blue.